This affirmative is arguing why countries should prioritize environmental protection over resource extraction. To begin with, resource extraction harms the environment. For example, the mining of rare earth minerals produces as much as 2,000 tons of solid waste for every ton of rare earth mineral produced. It also results in contamination of rivers, erosion, and silting. Not only does resource extraction harm the environment, but it doesn't help developing countries. The direct economic benefits gained from resource extraction often turn out to drive poverty. You would expect resources to contribute to the wealth of a nation, but studies found that countries with rich resource endowments are less governed, have lower growth rates, and are less socially developed than other countries. For those reasons, it is very important for countries to start prioritizing environmental protection. This negative is arguing why economic prosperity is more important than environmental protection. Prioritizing environmental protection will slow economic progress. In order to develop new technologies, we need resources. Extracting resources may create negative environmental impacts, but as the level of development improves, the impact on the environment improves. Studies show that pollution decelerates over decades of economic growth. Prioritizing environmental protection also stunts the growth of developing countries. Many poor developing countries are sitting on natural resources worth billions. These countries can gain benefits for their citizens by extracting these resources. Although these projects come with an environmental cost, the cost on the people for not helping them, poverty, is worse. The environmental risk is overshadowed by the economic and social benefits for developing countries. Please respond to this question. Is it possible to compromise? Sohocha Sakar, a professor at the University of Texas at Austin and leader in the study of environmental ethics, worked with the conservationists and energy producers to develop strategies that balance economic development and biodiversity protection. Sakar writes, "Given that not every biotic feature can reasonably be targeted for protection, what we decide to protect must be a local-driven cultural choice." Well, compromise should be possible, but the question of priority is crucial. As stated by the affirmative, if environmental protection is always first, then just the potential risk of environmental consequences may kill any economic project. Well, you have to recognize that although compromise sounds good, fair compromises are typically only achieved when two equal parties are negotiating. In most cases, the local environmental interests are significantly underrepresented, underfunded, and literally outgunned. Thus, the environment must be the first priority. It's true that in many cases, the existing environmental protection efforts, such as the creation of natural parks, have driven growth to illegal economic activities, such as illegal logging and mining, where it is not uncommon to use slave labor, and poaching, thus effectively creating an entire pirate economy where no taxes are paid, which we must remember is in response to the developed countries' ever-growing demand for natural resources at cheap prices. So, clearly it is better to prioritize economic projects driven by legal, responsible business entities. This affirmative has presented many reasons why countries should prioritize environmental protection over resource extraction. First, resource extraction kills the environment. In many cases, the extraction harms the environment to the point of driving away communities. The result of resource mismanagement induces environmental stresses, which can even lead to violence. This violence can further degrade the environment in which people live. The negative claimed that the resource extraction benefits developing countries, but in reality, it doesn't. Resource extraction generally leads to greater poverty. The negative also claimed that with their plan, we can compromise environmental protection and economic prosperity. But in most cases, the environment is the last concern of the extraction project, and the damage is often irreversible. With the affirmative plan, we can save and protect our environment for future generations, and which will lead to economic prosperity in the future. This negative believed you should vote to prioritize economic prosperity over environmental protection. There is an awareness of the environmental impacts of resource extraction, but we cannot let our concern for the environment override our need for resources. These resources are the key to our future. The resources lead to technological advances which lead to better economies, and as we utilize our resources to expand wealth, we improve our environment. Also, many of the resource-rich developing countries can become developed countries by exploiting their resources, better improving global economies. And with this negative plan, we can balance resource extraction and environmental protection. We understand the environmental risk, but the impact on the economy and communities is worth the risk.